Could the overcorrection we're seeing in the wake of George Floyd's death actually make every citizen, regardless of color, wherever you come from, less safe? Well, my next guest says we're entering a very dangerous moment in this country, one where we're leaving behind the idea that we're a nation of laws and instead becoming a nation of mobs. Joining me now is Danny Coulson, former Deputy Assistant FBI Director. Danny, you've been following all of this tonight, from the horrific violence in Chicago and an irresponsible mayor who's shutting down dissent, to two police officers who tased an individual after all of this, interaction with him, refusal to move car, moving the car, lifting up the officer. What's the message here to the American people?
Well, I think the message we're getting is that the mob controls, Laura. We used to be a nation of laws and not of men. Now we're becoming a nation of mobs and no law. And the first duty of our society is security. And we can't flourish as a society. We can't have education or commerce. And I think we saw from the audio you played with Mayor Lightfoot what happens when security goes away. And you saw the concern in the voice of all those individuals on that phone conversation. That's what we're facing with. We're looking at a world that's Mad Max, and it's pandemonium, and the people that will suffer the most are the people in the disadvantaged communities. They will suffer greatly. People with wealth won't, because they'll hire private security people. They'll hire people like me to come in and protect them. That's not the world we want to live in.
No, and as you said, the poorest and the most disadvantaged always are the ones who get shafted when liberals come in with their, quote, social justice solutions. We have other things we have to get to, though. Tonight on MSNBC, Chris Hayes was talking about why defunding the police might not be so bad of an idea after all. Check it out.
People will respond when you say, well, if you get the police, what are you going to do about murder? And often the response to that is, do you know what the homicide clearance rate is in major cities? In some places, it's as low as 30%, which is to say the police department is only solving 30% of the homicides in a city like Baltimore.
So I guess 30% of justice isn't worth it. Let's go down to 5% of solved murders. I mean, that's just indicting the leadership of the liberal cities.
Well, we call the police because there is violence. The police don't come there unless they call them. How many of these things we've seen have been a result of a 911 call from some citizen talking about their being violently attacked or witnessing a violent attack, so the police come? Of course there's going to be violence there. It was there before they got there. So we need to rethink this whole thing. This is absurd. It's going to create pandemonium, and I think the American people don't like this idea. I think we're getting a lot of media push on it, but I think it doesn't reflect how most citizens in our country feel about it.
Now, they've moved from demonizing Donald Trump to demonizing the police, and in the end, there are no answers or solutions. It's rhetoric and these symbolic gestures and painting streets, and that's about all they can come up with in the end. Danny, your experience is important. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you. I enjoy it. Thank you very much for having me.
And in moments.